Hey, I will never trust an Airbnb anymore. What's up? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums. And today I'm going to be doing an album review on the new Horrendous album, Ontological Mysterium. Also, I'm gonna speak in a very quiet way because I don't know what's wrong with my voice in the last few days, but I am old and raspy, I guess. But also, I have roommates now. So, Horrendous is a technical death metal, prog metal band from the US of A. And in the year 2018, they released Idol, which I think is one of the best metal albums of the decade. It is very fun and immediate and easy to get into, some of the best performances all decade. And this time around, they have returned for a more prog metal direction. And yet they remain fun and easy to get into. So, new album, I was pretty hyped about it, and I am not let down because this album is really freaking good. And normally I don't even listen to metal that much, but when a good metal album comes out, it is really freaking good. So the album opener, The Blaze, is an intro track that is roughly 2 minutes long. It is a really epic, dramatic opening with cinematic guitar chords and echoey effects. And that builds into Chrysopia, the Archaeology of Dawn, which is a 7 minute long prog metal epic with a pummeling, aggressive first half, which is absolutely sharp. The stuttery, chunky guitars are amazing, on top of which we have menacing but emotional growls. And then in the middle section of the track, we get this call and response. We have nothing, but with growls on top, and then the guitars sort of respond back, which is really freaking cool. But what makes this track so good is the second half, where it sort of quiets down, and we enter this guitar solo with soaring sharp guitars. It is prog metal, but they still manage to make it so fun, so bright, so full of ups and downs and exciting. Afterwards, we have the track Neon Leviathan, which is a barn burner with a speedy bass guitar, some blast beats, odd time signatures. This track is one chaotic rager. The next track, Aurora Neoterica, is less than 2 minutes long, but on this track, they did a little avant-garde jazz infusion, which is really, really intriguing. With the hi-hats and the off-kilter bass, the track builds up to some soaring guitars, and overall, it's just track for track amazingness. Then we have a bit of a low point with Preterition Hymn, which is a mid-paced, fiery, passionate guitars. It reminds me a lot of 80s like peak Metallica. So this is still a great track, even though I think pacing wise not the best of the entire album, but the background hymns are very haunting, and also in the last bit of the track, the lyrics actually include Enochian, and my name is Enoch. They're shouting my name, so, extra points for that. Following that with Cult of Shadoa, which is meat and potatoes solid tech death metal with shadowy vocals in the back, which makes it feel like a cultist chant. Well, obviously it's called Cult of Shadoa. What do you expect? But overall, this album is just so far fantastic. But the real best parts of the album comes in the next two tracks, Ex Genesis, with the EN in the middle in parentheses, with the robotic vocals in the beginning, which persists throughout the entire track. And then the rest of the track is basically this instrumental track with angular bass, shrill guitars. The whole thing comes off very calculated, very angular, and it's sort of like this warm up, this peppy little build up to the title track, which is my favorite track here, and also I think one of my favorite metal tracks in all year. This is easily the catchiest track. We have some sour death metal verses with distant screams that are very wild and emo in a way. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of the latest Code Orange album, because that album also incorporates some really organic, raw scream vocals. But then it enters the choruses, which are very bright and dreary and somewhat bittersweet, very melodic, on top of some steadily chomping beats, like there's a marching rhythm underneath. It's really, really groovy for some reason, and at the same time apocalyptic sounding. And then the second half of the track speeds up and spirals into chaos. The whole track is just fantastic. And then the album ends off with The Death Knell Ringeth, which is a solid ending with some constantly prickly bass guitars. It is not the most outstanding track. I think it is pretty basic for Horrendous, but overall it's still a really solid ending. And I think this is one of the most packed, one of the most quality metal albums to come out this year, but also in the last few years, in my opinion. The bass guitars, the screams, the vocals, the chord progressions, and the melodic moments in this album are very immediate, very quick, very catchy, quick to impact, and it's just one jam, one metal banger after another, after another, after another. And it's great that it's only 37 minutes long. It's not too short, but not too long either, just right at the sweet spot. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. And I'm proud to say that Horrendous new album, Ontological Mysterium, a strong 8 to a light 9 out of 10. So if you listen to the new Horrendous album, comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Also, this will be the last album review I'll ever film here because I am moving again. So yeah.